In Atlanta, I think, and this is for me, I believe that Prestinni proved what he wanted, right? Whenever he came to this team in particular, whenever, for those who remember the offseason, what was kind of going on at the time, where there was a lot of drama taking place, there was a lot of discussions occurring in terms of, why is Prestinni not being added to a team, considering the fact that he was somebody who would just come off a world championship, right? It's crazy because all the other guys were starting positions pretty easily. We talk about the Atlanta Phase, we're talking about the Dallas Empire, the Chicago Huntsmen. I mean, you think about it, United players are all going to teams in which it was a pretty easy, for the most part, acquisition in terms of guys that were getting out of the rosters. There were announcements coming out already, but Prestinni was not, right? He was somebody who was kind of one of the last, and that's something that the Florida Mutineers have phrased themselves. This was someone who was kind of brought in last moment. And I believe that in Atlanta, Prestinni proved everything that he wanted to get across this year, which is that he didn't need Arcides to win. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that he won the entire event, because obviously we all know the story. They don't. They face off against the Atlanta Phase, and, granted, it's a more of a grimmer story post that. But I think he proved not just to the world, but most importantly to himself, that he had what it took to get the job done. And I believe this, and I think there's a lot of people who are kind of, when it comes down to this particular discussion, Prestinni and Arcides, they want to be together, right? They want to play alongside each other again. There's no denying that. I feel at this point, based off the interviews that we've heard, based off of the post-game interview between Florida and Chicago, the hype leading into that particular matchup as well, when they're talking about family, they're talking about the history that they've had. If you go back and watch the Eavesdrop podcast with Arcides, goes into full detail about his relationship with his brother, the way that they have come up in competitive Call of Duty, the way that has progressed. It is no surprise that they want to play alongside each other. And I think from, like I said, their family, both Prestinni and Arcides, they don't want to go through that again. I don't think that they want to face off against each other again. And I don't personally have a brother, but I do have a sibling. And the last thing that I would want to do personally is to take them down and to allow for them to see negative results, right? Obviously, I want to win. And I think for these particular guys, they're trying to weigh whether or not it is worth winning or being on the same team as each other. Obviously, you want both, right? To win with your brother would be the absolute best thing that you could ever have happen. But I think with this particular circumstance, Prestinni proved what he wanted. He finally proved what he had been trying to do for years, ever since the talk had been kind of established, especially throughout Black Ops 4 with the Bees. He's carrying the team. Arcides is carrying the team. Now Simp comes through. His role gets changed. All of this kind of going on. I think he finally managed to prove what he wanted. And whenever he faces off against his brother, as hard as it could have been to face off against your twin brother and to take him down the way that they did, I think that was the last thing that he wanted to do. But also at the same time, the primary focus that he has had his eyes on since the CDL began, or rather since the offseason progressed, when he knew he wasn't going to be playing with Arcides again.